Thanks for tuning in to The Real Deal Show, brought to you by eBodyboarding.com and Tribe Boards. Hey everybody, Jay Reale here with The Real Deal Show, and I have a man sitting next to me that has a big history in bodyboarding here in South Orange County, where we're located, and where I've lived for the last 35 years. This man is Craig Whetter. How's it going, Craig?
How we doing? Good.
Right on, doing great, man. So Craig is one of the top young bodyboarders from this area. It's 2022 when we're recording this. He has a lot going on, not just with bodyboarding, but in his life. And I thought we could take a deep dive into the life of Craig Whetter and find out what he's all about and talk about a big project that he has coming up. This is obviously something that we're going to touch on briefly because it's something happening very close to the recording date of this show. And of course, this show is going to be in perpetuity on YouTube. So we'll learn a lot about Craig in this show, I think. We'll see how much he's willing to give up, how much info.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so Craig, let's start with the basics. You live here in South Orange County in what city?
Yeah, Laguna Niguel. So
okay.
It's just a little bit further up from Dana Point.
Yeah.
Like 3 miles from the beach, so, I mean,
and
can't
so,
ask for much more than that.
And you grew up there?
Yeah, I was born and raised here, so.
Okay. So you went to Dana Hills High School?
Did go to Dana, went to Niguel Hills Middle School, all the local schools around here, so.
Okay. Now, they have a surf team at most of the schools in this area. In fact, throughout Southern California, surfing and bodyboarding are like a school sport, and they have phys ed, where you can actually just go surfing every day. It's pretty cool. They didn't have that where I grew up, but were you on the surf team?
Yeah, I didn't do the middle school surf team because I wasn't into it, as weird as it sounds yet. But I did do the Dana surf team. I think I did it sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. So basically the last 3 years of high school.
Okay, so you were competing.
Yep.
And now that's like they don't do it anymore. They took away the bodyboarding division.
Yeah, I mean, I know kids who are now on the high school surf team, and they're all like in a surf class. It's not the team.
Right.
And I'm like, so what does that mean? And they're like, yeah, we just don't compete, and we only go to the beach in the afternoons now.
Oh wow!
It's no mornings.
How weird.
So
really?
Kind of sucks for them.
Well, it's good for the guys that surf. Then they'll have an inundation of school-age kids out in the lineup.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because I'll tell you what, man, the local spots around here get packed with school kids in the mornings, or at least they used to in the case of Salt Creek, which is kind of your local spot, right?
Yeah. So that's where we had all the surf practices, I don't know, some of the competitions. We're at Creek Point, not even gravels, so it was kind of just
kind of a mushier.
Right. Just do that sort of deal, but it would get pretty crowded on those days when it was pumping.
You and all the groms out there.
That was a good time.
Oh, sure. So let's back up a little bit. So we talked about the high school, but as a young kid, were you an athlete? Were you an artist? Were you a musician? Did you do any of that stuff? What did you gravitate towards as a kid?
So I played baseball all the way up until high school. So I didn't play in high school. I just played all through all the elementary school in Niguel, and then just didn't play in high school. But then that's when I kind of jumped into the more surfing side of.
What got you out of baseball when you got to high school? Were you burnt out by then?
I was just burnt out of it, yeah. And I didn't really want to, because I knew kids who were older than me that were on the team, and they were just always complaining about it. I was like, I don't want to.
Wow.
I don't really want to be devoting my life to that, especially in high school. I could be doing something more fun.
Okay. So you were ready to move on from baseball, and then what happened? You got into bodyboarding. How did that all come about?
Well, I was a filmer for, I don't know, from like 12 to 14 years old. So I was a filmer and editor of all my friends at the time. So I was actually just at the beach, not even in the water yet. I was
so surfers and bodyboarders?
Yeah, mainly bodyboarders.
Okay.
But yeah, I was the photographer for the surf team that one year that I wasn't competing. And I mean, from there I kind of was like, I'm over being behind the lens, so I want to jump in front. And luckily in that time frame, Cameron Gunlock, who's the known filmer around here, he was shooting a lot, so I got to basically improve my writing like that because he would film basically every session.
And you go back and analyze the
so
footage.
I could go back and watch it and do whatever I wanted with it. And
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, it was really nice. And I think that's a big like reason why I improved so quickly in those couple of years.
Were you doing editing as well when you were shooting?
I mean, yeah, I've been editing since I was probably 12 or even 11. Just like,
wow.
So everything that I've learned is basically just self-taught, just studying other projects and just kind of doing that. But as time has gone on, I've gotten way more confident and learned a lot more. So I mean, it's been a long time, but I feel like really comfortable with putting up like top-notch content.
Yeah, what kind of editing software have you been using over the years?
I've only used Final Cut Pro for
since day one.
As I can remember.
Never iMovie or anything like that?
I think iMovie maybe like in the early stages.
That's what I'm still using, man.
But yeah, I did jump into the Final Cut pretty quick.
Wow.
Obviously, you can do more with that, and I felt pretty advanced at the time, so grew pretty quickly with that.
So you're too young to remember the days of what was then called linear editing. This is before, when computers were new, and man, it was a totally different scenario when you shot stuff on actual tape. It was, man, crazy. I didn't do editing, but I know some of the guys that shot videos back then, and it took them hundreds of hours to edit stuff that now takes.
That's what I heard. I was just talking to Scotty Carter earlier, and he was like, "You guys have it easy, man.
So easy.
You just drag it in,
yes.
drag some other things around. That's all."
So your reference of Scotty Carter is appropriate because Scotty from the same beach that you frequent, Salt Creek. Do you have any influences in terms of videographers from back in the day? Or videos that you really loved? Do you have anything like old school?
Back in the day, I mean, back in the day for me is kind of when I first like started in the whole sport. So like 2012 around then was like Killer Days by Todd Barnes.
Yep.
And I mean, a couple years ago it was Three Amigos. That's like got to be one of the top favorites for me for sure.
Yep.
And like, I don't know, those are really awesome, but also the No Friends ones from way back before I was even like
where you weren't even alive.
Yeah, like
man.
watching those were very inspiring too, because like it's just all of it put together is so raw, and it's like it's so awesome.
Yeah, totally different scene in the video world. I mean, even way before your time, Tom Boyle, and you mentioned Scotty Carter, all pioneers, and then the No Friends series, which kind of moved forward into the videos that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think now this is a good point to touch on what you're doing now, because let's first back up a couple years and talk about Sack Chat.
Yep.
Sack Chat Chronicles is a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And you guys have put out, do you know how many videos? I asked Tanner this question when I interviewed him. And by the way, if you want to see the Tanner interview, click this link at the top of the screen right there, and it'll take you to my interview with Tanner. But tell me about the Sack Chat thing.
Yeah, so that's just like a group with me, Tristan Ray, Tanner, Alex. We kind of just merged this one collective where we could just put all of our content, and that was it. Sack Chat was. I honestly couldn't tell you how the name started, but it's a name you will never forget, and that's part of the marketing tactic.
I asked Tanner that question. He had a theory on it, but I asked him if it had something to do with the male anatomy, but he said it was a chat group.
It was the group chat.
Okay.
And that's just like where it all stemmed, and from there we just kind of created videos for the last, I think, 3 years now. It's probably like 40, 45 videos on there.
Wow.
Of just kind of anywhere from top notch to just playing, having fun.
Are you guys doing water slides, out on boats, doing towing behind the boat, that kind of stuff?
Just living as the best life you can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's really cool because, I mean, people who are watching, they get the whole like vlog experience kind of, and then when you watch the vlog experience, you get to know the people. So like it's cool for people, especially locally, to see just kind of scenes that are familiar to them.
So if somebody wants to see your videos, I'm going to put the link, by the way, in the description to their YouTube channel. And what is the YouTube channel? It's youtube.com/
it's just Sack Chat now.
SACKCHAT.
Yep.
Okay, so
nice
it's
and simple.
Sack Chat, and you can see all their videos. It's hilarious. Some
Yeah.
of them are really funny, and
Yeah.
there's just epic bodyboarding. A lot of it from locally, but
Yeah.
also on some trips that you guys have been on, right?
Yeah, we did. There's a couple from Hawaii on there, just locally, basically, other than that.
Yep.
But, I mean, it's all right there, and I feel like that's the best part, because you click on it, and it's everything, basically, that we've created from the past like 3 or 4 years. So.
That's so cool, man. Well, so that brings us to what's going on now. So just to give you a little background here is, during my days as a pro bodyboarder and beyond those days, videographers would produce videos. They'd make them into DVDs. It's another thing that's gone the way of the dinosaur or the dodo, as they say. And then they would do a premiere. So everybody would show up. In fact, we at eBodyboarding, we did a couple premieres for Fire, Mike Stewart's video, and a couple others. And it was basically a gathering of bodyboarders in the towns where they would do these different premieres. No Friends was famous for their video series and their premieres. They'd be like a giant party for bodyboarders.
Yep.
And that has been missing because nobody's really been putting out videos, at least in the United States, for a long, long time. And so let's segue that into what's going on here. And you can see this poster behind me. We'll give you information. Again, I'll put this in the description down below, a link to it. But tell us about what this is all about.
Yeah, so we basically decided to make a movie in the early stages of the year for that reason that no one's been really putting out an event like this, or just crazy content that you would have been in the No Friends time and all that stuff. And that is actually a big inspiration why we decided to do it. But yeah, it's basically just the last 12 months that we've been able to collect from all the travels, all locally, and then all into one 40-minute of just all surfing.
Yeah.
There's not really any like short, like random messing around parts. It's like 40 minutes of surfing.
Full surf.
So it's like, it's pretty cool to be able to like put all of it together and like have that much time just be all surfing. 40
minutes. Now, is it all just you four, like you, Tristan, Tanner, and some Alex, or is Alex filming all of it? Or
Alex filmed a bit of it. So the biggest part about a movie is getting the footage. So we've got a lot of filmers who have helped us throughout this year. Alex is one of them. Other guys like Cameron Gunlock, Jamie Rose. The list goes on for a long time. But it's basically just me, Tristan, and Tanner.
Okay.
And then there's other clips of local groms, like Evan McMillan's got a couple clips in there. Scotty and Lincoln.
Scotty Plowden.
Lincoln Presley. Just the younger guys, just to get them out into the world, because there's a lot of talent here, and it's hard to, grow from here right now.
Hard to get them noticed.
Yeah.
Because there's no magazines anymore. Nobody's been putting out videos. So you guys have kind of taken on a really important task here, and that is, in my eyes, to resurrect bodyboarding in California. If you go overseas, particularly in Australia, they have this vision that bodyboarding is kind of dead over here. But you and this group of younger riders here in Southern California are still alive and well and ripping, and now the whole world's going to get to see it. By the way, the title of the movie, Breaking Even, and the premiere, I know, again, this is going to be on YouTube for many years to come, but the premiere is coming up when? December 17th, 7 p.m. right here in San Clemente. And again, the link in the description below if you want to buy tickets. And it's only $10 for a ticket. And it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun time.
Yeah.
It's just like the response we've gotten online is like insane.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah. One of our amazing ticket buyers is right here, supporters.
We bought 4 tickets, so we're going to take the whole staff.
Yeah.
We can't wait just for the whole vibe, because it's been missing.
Yeah.
It's really been missing here in California.
And I think a lot of people feel that too. And once we started promoting this, it's just been like an overwhelming amount of like just positive, like, yes, it's back. Like, thank God you guys are doing this. Like, and it's like really crazy. Now we're like, we almost have 100 people coming to this, and before we were like, are we gonna hit 30? we're gonna hit 40, and now the question's like, are we gonna hit 60? And now the question's like, we're gonna hit 100. Like, are we gonna have to notify the the venue that we have like way more people that are gonna be coming? So
sure, because there's limits. You know, the fire department has like limits how many people can be in a venue, right?
Yeah.
So that's insane.
Yeah,
man.
it's really cool. And
I'm so stoked to hear that.
Yeah, and Riptide's got a huge part in it now. They've helped us out a bunch with all the promotion, and so like they're helping us get it out there, and I'm glad Riptide's back too now.
Yeah, for sure.
Topic, but
yeah. I know it's so cool. It's and we have here in Southern California. There's a group that started the California Bodyboarding Alliance. They've done some events here with APB North America. I know last year you competed and did really well.
Yeah.
And then Tanner competed, who's obviously in the video heavily, and he actually won last year.
Pipe?
No, I'm talking about the event at Ocean Beach.
Oh,
so this is the California
the
series.
California one.
Do you have any interest in competing? I mean, do you want to do any of these events, or is just free surfing kind of your gig?
Yeah, I mean, there is a part of me that does want to, but I see like all the stress and like all the like things that these guys go through, and just like I feel like I just have way more fun free surfing. Like going on a trip with your friends and just scoring waves is no stress really, other than worrying about getting hurt. Like that's the only thing.
Yeah, right.
Like, with all this, you're like, I got to make this heat. I got to like do all that, and I do enjoy it, and I've found myself enjoying it when I'm in it. But to get myself there, I'm like, I'd rather just go somewhere and spend money where I'm going to score.
Well, that's a good point, because I saw Craig in Canary Islands. This is about a month back, and that was kind of your first time over in that part of the world, right?
Yeah. First time to Europe, actually.
Yeah,
so in general.
You were over there sort of to support Tanner and his bid for the world title, which didn't work out, but you guys got epic waves, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Just like the whole vibe, just seeing the whole event and surfing the waves and surfing Fronton especially is just like a dream and insane in its own.
So we're going to see some footage of that in this video. And let me ask you this, for the folks that obviously can't make it to the premiere because not everyone lives in Southern California, will this eventually be available elsewhere?
Yeah, so part of the deal with Riptide was that they can have the movie for a while. I think it's 4 or 5 weeks to put on their cinema page.
Okay.
So people who want to go watch it can buy their subscription and watch it there. But after the 5 weeks, they're just going to give to us, and we can post it on YouTube. Perfect. So it will be on YouTube
eventually. Okay, cool. So we'll look out for that as well.
Yeah.
We'll be able to see that video. Is this going to be an ongoing thing? I mean, do you think you'll devote the time to putting out future videos? Because it's a lot of work, right? You got to shoot, and then the editing. Have you been doing some of the editing?
I've actually made the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
So with views from everyone else, Alex and Tanner and Tristan, just like little tweaks, because I can't look at it all and figure it out. So when they help out, it really helps get like a group understanding of the whole video. And so, but I like all the cuts and all the sections, and that was all me.
Wow, man. Yeah. So editing skills.
Yeah.
And writing skills as well. So let's segue into, let's talk about you as, I mean, you're obviously a super accomplished bodyboarder. What's your favorite thing to do in bodyboarding? Like, what kind of waves do you prefer? Beach break, reef break, barrels, long peelers? What's your forte?
Well, I mean, growing up around here, you don't get many reefs, so I mean, you obviously gravitate towards loving beach breaks.
Yep.
So I do love a good beach break. Obviously, a good wedge is probably one of my favorite.
Lots of clips of Craig at the wedge too, by the way.
Yeah. So I mean, just kind of learning how to surf that wave has been really, really fun and very rewarding.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the most productive waves in California, I think,
for sure. Yeah, for high performance bodyboarding.
But I mean, I also do love the reef side, so I mean, it's hard to choose because you don't have many reefs. So when you do get a reef, you're like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And then you go back to wedge, and you're like, okay, this is sick too. Like,
yeah, right.
So I don't know. I would probably say a beach break for sure.
Okay.
good side way of going into something.
And we always see you prone riding. Ever delve into the realm of drop knee or stand up?
Only going right.
Okay.
Only going right.
So you're regular foot? You like front side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a good ride, I'm going to prone it for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do mess around a lot on just softer, mushier days.
Yeah.
Going right, just doing 360s
And
stuff,
sometimes little stuggy stand-up riding too. Yeah, we've seen you doing that.
Yeah, I'm not as, talented as Tanner is, because I always have my fins on, so I'm always trying to get up with my fins on. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, mainly prone.
You ever jump on a surfboard?
When it's really, really small, I do.
Okay.
And it's rare, so when people see me on a surfboard, it's like, wow, it must be really bad.
I love it. I've found that most of the best bodyboarders can ride surfboards pretty well too if they want to, which is, it's just a testament to bodyboarding teaches you to be able to ride waves well because you're riding a finless board. If you can get edge control on a bodyboard, surfboard's a piece of cake because you got the skegs on the bottom. Let's talk about some of the riders here in Southern California. There's a lot of young guys coming up. You named a few names. Do you have any influences beyond Southern California? First of all, coming up bodyboarding, was there riders that influenced you as a young rider?
Yeah, I mean, obviously as you're kind of learning the whole sport and all that, you see Jeff is a big one. So
for sure,
Jeff is a huge inspiration to just about any bodyboarder I've talked to, I feel like.
Yeah.
So Jeff's a big one. Another one is Jake Stone and Ben Player. Those are two that I actually would watch a lot growing up. So those two, I mean, I really enjoyed learning from how they do it. So
have you met those guys?
I haven't met them, no.
Okay. So a trip to Australia is probably in the books for you at some point in the future.
I hope it's real soon.
Yeah. Well, talking about the young riders, it's hard for people can't make a living as a pro bodyboarder these days.
Yeah.
It's really impossible. Back in my day, there was a lot of us that we just rode bodyboards for a living. We got paid to do it. It's not happening now. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
What's your theory? I have my theories, but what's yours?
I don't know. I feel like the sport dove for a while before I even started.
Yep.
So I feel like, I mean, it's not going to remain the same when something like that happens. So I feel like that just has to be one of the biggest reasons. Because I don't think it's the whole, there's not many people doing it. Like I see new people in the water with bodyboards every day. Like everywhere you go, like Europe is huge. Like everyone in the Canaries is basically bodyboarding. It feels like when you're out there. So there's no lack of, there's not enough people doing it. I don't know what's missing. It's just like.
Yeah, my theory, I don't want to get too deep into this, but my theory is back in I hate to keep saying back in my day because I am old, but hey, let's face it, back in my day, there was about less than 10 bodyboard brands, and they all made enough money to support riders on the tour. Now there's like 60, 70 brands out there, and they're all dividing up that pie, so nobody has quite enough money to send riders on the world tour. But the other part of that is nobody's been producing video content or magazines. There's no more print magazines to promote their sponsors, right? So all of that dovetails together and makes it kind of like not a great return on the investment for a company that wants to put a rider on the world tour. Are they going to get that same level of promotion back?
Yeah.
Here in the U.S., maybe not. But as you pointed out, other parts of the world, Europe and South America, bodyboarding is alive and well.
Yeah.
And as we know, most of the IBC tour is kind of based in those two areas. And let's cross fingers and hope that someday we can get back to that level. And Craig, of course, is doing his part with his partners to get the word out that bodyboarding is alive and well here in California. Even in Hawaii, it's doing really well.
That's a big one too.
Right?
Yeah. There's so many bodyboarders over there.
Yeah. So I love that you're kind of sparking the flame there to get things rocking here in California again.
I feel like it definitely has already had a big upwelling of people and just like audience and
the stoke is
everyone.
back, people.
Yeah.
So along those lines, because it's so hard right now to make a living as a pro bodyboarder, you've been going to college, right?
Yep.
Talk about that.
So I've been going to UC Santa Barbara for
Yep.
the last 2 years since 2022, and I just graduated last year, basically.
Yeah, man.
So it's
What's
good.
the degree?
Sociology?
Okay.
Study of people.
Yeah.
That's I mean, it's very broad, but I mean,
Yeah, so do you have a career path in mind?
not really in that degree. Like
Okay.
I have more fun, and I feel like I know more, as funny as it sounds, in marketing and social media, just from like living my life
Sure.
the past like 3 or 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to go into that direction.
Okay.
And just have the degree to have the degree, you know?
Yeah, well, you're already doing it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're with bodyboarding, you have a strong social media presence. By the
Yeah.
way, his Instagram is at Craig Whetter.
Yep.
And you can check lots of content coming from Craig every day. And so you already have that real world experience in marketing the video and your social media. And of course, that's a burgeoning, I mean, I want to say burgeoning, it's burgeoned many years ago, but social media is a huge industry.
Yeah.
And you already have real world experience. It's funny like that, though. You know, you go to college.
Yeah.
I did the same. I have a degree in earth science and secondary ed. I was
okay.
going to be a school
That's
teacher.
cool.
I
Yeah.
taught high school in my senior year of college. I had student taught. And I was going to be a teacher. And
Yeah.
now I ended up being a pro bodyboarder and now a business owner. Nothing like what I went 4 years to college and got my degree to do. But
Yeah.
that's just how things roll, you know.
Yeah.
You change as you get older. So that's pretty cool. So let's talk about the support. We talked about hard to make a living as a bodyboarder, but you have some support. Let's talk about your sponsors.
Yeah, so I've been sponsored by 662 versus Ally for, I don't know, since 2017, 2016.
Yeah.
A lot of free gear, which is nice. I got my own signature model now, so that helps too.
From VS. So
Yep.
look that up online, the Craig Whetter model.
Yeah. Just basically saving a lot of money is the biggest part. you
Yeah.
know. Not having to buy fins, boards, just all that is really huge in the long run.
And wetsuits. You get
And
the
wetsuits,
gyro
yeah,
action
gyro.
going there.
So I mean, no big salary deal, but
Yeah.
just saving a lot of money,
Sure.
which is great.
Get the gear support.
In return for promotion online, and it's great.
And now down here, do you have any roommates? Are you living with any friends? Or
No, I'm still at my
doing your
parents'
own-
house
Okay.
at the moment because I just finished college, basically.
Part of the saving money thing.
Yeah,
that he
saved
just talked
saved
about.
a lot of money. So I'm in the job hunt right now, but
Okay.
but worried about getting this movie out there first. So
Now, have you been putting out resumes for jobs?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's all begun. So.
Okay. You just got to avoid the 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, no 9 to 5.
You're
No
trying
9
to be a
5.
remote worker, one
Remote
of
for
those
sure.
guys.
Go anywhere you can and
I
still
hate
work.
those guys, man. I see them sitting on beaches on their laptops, and I'm like, what do you do for work, man? I got to sit behind a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I hope that works out.
Yeah.
So we thanked your sponsors. Awesome. We covered all that. Craig, what do you see yourself doing 10 years from now? How do you see your life? Do you have any, and along those lines, any trips coming up, places you want to go? Bucket list destinations.
Bucket list. Australia is a big one.
Yeah.
Australia is huge. Hawaii is always a good time, so I'm always trying to sneak in a Hawaii trip here
Sure.
and there. So.
And you've been there a few times, right?
Yeah, I got to
North
go
Shore.
twice last year, which was awesome.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I'll take that for sure. But Oz is a big one. Honestly, back to Europe would be amazing. Portugal.
Yeah.
And, just that whole coast looks awesome. So
Yep.
those are kind of big hit lists for sure.
Hawaii, what's your favorite spot over there?
Pipe when there's no one out.
Which is never,
Which is
unless
never.
it's 1 foot.
Yeah, we actually had a day in March that is basically the entire Hawaii section of this.
Oh,
of
wow.
This movie. It was just me, Tanner, and Mike for like 2 hours.
No
3 hours.
way.
Yeah, and it was not small, not huge, but just perfect size. And
Why was it empty?
we don't know.
Really?
We still talk about this day, and it was my spring break, so it was like March, like late March, and it was like a Tuesday morning. And it was right when we got there. So we got on Monday night, and the next day it was just like firing. And we were like, where is everybody? And that was like all day too.
How weird.
Like all morning was just us, and then later more people came out. But it was
It was a fluke.
Something was off. Something was off.
That's weird, man. When I used to spend the winters there, we'd get a rare day like that occasionally. It was usually when the wind was bad in the morning, or it was giant and the swell was dropping fast, or the wind switched suddenly and no one knew. You could get an hour or two before people caught on, and then it would get crowded. But yeah, those are rare days, man. Treasure that one forever. We'll see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of footage in the movie up from that day. So
right on, man.
It's been really cool.
Well, that's going to be a stoke fest. So look it up on YouTube if this is several months after December of 2022, because today's December 1st, 2022. Craig, anyone you want to thank here before we wrap this up? Family, friends.
Yeah.
I mean, we've thanked your sponsors already.
My parents and family have always been really supportive, so I want to thank you guys, obviously.
Yeah.
Tanner, Tristan, Alex, it's like there's no other crew better to roll with. So, I mean, you guys are the best.
They're like brothers to you, probably.
Basically. Yeah, I mean, we've made this whole thing together, so it's really cool. And, my girlfriend, all my friends, just kind of all the people that make life good and happy. So, thanks to you guys.
Okay, well, check this guy out, man. He is one of the top bodyboarders from California and kind of carrying the torch for the younger generation. He mentioned some names earlier from this area, and we hope to see, more riders coming up from California and in the United States, from the United States in general, and get the scene back to, somewhere near where it was, let's say 20 years ago, when things were, flying high in terms of bodyboarding popularity. So thanks for doing your part. We appreciate that, man.
No worries.
Yeah, so that's Craig Whetter. No worries, man. So that'll do it for this episode of The Real Deal Show. If you watched us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, give Craig some comments down below, and again, check out his social media. We'll link all this stuff in the description down at the bottom of the video. And if you were listening on the audio podcast, hope you enjoyed your workout and you didn't sweat too hard, or your drive to work and you didn't stress out too much on the drive. So that'll do it, folks. As always, we'll see you in the surf.